Hello everybody, it is me Darcy. Welcome back to the channel and welcome back to the Unnamed Podcast. Some of the week where I sit here with this and chat, catch up, talk about the week, talk about things that come to my mind, talk a whole lot of rubbish. Guys, welcome back. It's the new year. We covered that last week.
We did.
But this is a new year, and with a new year come new problems. Isn't that great, Kris? Don't you love it? Don't you just get it into your soul?
I always do.
But before we talk about any of that, let's start things off how we often do with a bit of channel news. Kris, take it away.
Okay, so Monday this week was Yakuza 0.
Yeah, man. Let me tell you about Yakuza 0.
Okay.
Great game. Great game. Whole Yakuza series. Great games. Yeah, basically, I really like those games, and there's been some new ones coming out over the last couple of years that I haven't really had time to play. So I figured to myself, you know what, I might as well make some time to play it.
Yeah.
And I might as well play it on the channel, because then I'm not just playing it, I'm using time wisely. So, yeah, kind of...
Bit of a stretch on that one.
I want to play the Yakuza games. I don't have a whole lot of free time, so I'm like, if I do it for the channel, it works.
It does.
So yeah, that's kind of what I did. I was like, well, I'll start from the beginning because the Yakuza games numerically very easy to understand.
True. Yeah.
It's not like Resident Evil where 0 has only the smallest thing to do with 1, and though does come before, you're like, is it? Well, it's a prequel. Yeah. But does it really have anything to do with the actual story? Is it really the best starting point? Well, I can say for 100%, in the Yakuza games, 0 is a fine starting point.
Yes. Yeah.
Because it teaches you the story of the main character, their background.
Yeah.
And, yeah.
Okay.
Goes through their background, introduces other characters that, come into play later. And, yeah, I think it is a very good starting point. Whereas, with Resident Evil, when I talk about the whole thing of, like, oh, I just don't know where to start, it's because it's, like, 1 is the story that they wanted to tell, whereas 0 is like, oh, yes, we're going to make this fit with this.
Fair.
And it
makes sense.
Kind of, and like, because it's different characters, like, that's kind of the Resident Evil thing. It's like, generally, like, each game is different characters. Well,
some. Most.
Well, 1, 2, 3, 4, all have the same characters in them.
Yes.
Don't get me wrong, like, 1 and 3 are the same character, but there's a gap between them. So you don't need to play 1 to play 2, because it's not like you're continuing on
that's
that story. You do need to play 1 for 3 to make sense, I believe.
It makes sense.
But that's part of the problem with Resident Evil.
Well, yes.
Like, with the Yakuza game, right, you could play 1 and be like, oh, okay, well, what's happening here makes sense in the game, but maybe I don't understand these character interactions as much because I'm starting here. Whereas if you play 0, because you play the same characters, you're like, oh, I see, this is my friend. And then later on you go, oh, so now I understand this interaction because we've been, I know, it's not just them being like, we were friends since kids. It was like, oh, yes, we were friends since kids. We came up through the Yakuza together when stuff went down. He had my back, Yeah,
the usual things,
Yeah. But with Resident Evil, it's like, okay, I played Resident Evil 1. Now I'm going to play Resident Evil 2. Oh, okay, none of the characters I saw are even involved in this one.
Yeah.
Oh, because, well, they sort of are, but not really.
They're there, but...
Well, they're not there. It's just that you're a police officer, they were police officers. You can, like, go up into their office and, like, there's mentions of them and you're like, oh, we're in the same world. Because the reality is, it's like, these things are almost, like, happening simultaneously.
Okay, fair enough. Yeah.
At least that's the way I've always understood it. It's like,
I mean, it
stuff at the mansion happens. the stuff in the city happens almost at exactly the same time, because that's kind of how zombies happen.
Well, yeah.
And then Resident Evil 3, she's in the city and the city's going to shit, but that only works because it's happening also at the same time as Resident Evil 2. So it's like Resident Evil 1 happens,
Yeah.
Resident Evil 2 starts like halfway through Resident Evil 1 happening.
Yeah.
Resident Evil 3 takes place halfway through like Resident Evil 2 happening. You see why it's a lot harder than just being like, well, this says this number on it, so therefore this must be the one that goes. No, it's not that simple, because it's like the story is.
I mean,
weird.
I'd still probably play it that way. Let's face it.
Absolutely. But like the story is weird and interlapping, and it's like, as I said, you can go and you can be like, I don't like this game, okay, so don't play it. It's like they don't interact. Whereas like, yeah, 2 and 4, you play as Leon. So you can play 4 without ever playing 2.
Yeah.
Because 2 is just like the backstory.
Yeah.
There is enough of a gap between 2 and 4 that you go, okay, whatever. 1 and 3, I always feel you kind of, if you play 3 without playing 1, you will be a little bit like, huh? Because like there's stuff they can tell you in the story, but like because it's so close to each other,
Yeah.
and you play as the same character, it's like everything happening in 3 is because of what happened in 1.
Yeah.
So it's like if you haven't played 1, they can tell you the backstory and be like, this happened and this happened, but you know you are missing
A chunk of the story.
you're missing something that they're like, this is a continuation for.
Yeah, okay.
And it's like, so yeah. But look, as I said, I really like the Yakuza game. There's a lot of them. There is a lot of them.
There is quite a few.
You take the numbered, there's 8 numbered ones.
Yes.
Then you take just the mainstream spin-offs. No, sorry. There's 9 numbered ones. Because we got up to Yakuza 8 in 12.
Oh, yeah.
And there's 0. So there's 9 numbered games.
Yes.
There's like the I want to say there's like 2 mainstream spin-offs that you can get here. I know there's a lot more spin-offs.
Yeah,
like
of course.
I know there is, but like there's Yakuza Pirates, and there's what's the other one? Yakuza Gaiden, the man who erased his name.
Okay.
Both those are just like spin-offs of the main series. So there's like 11 games.
Yes.
And as I said, that doesn't include any of like the other kind of spin-off stuffs that they've done in the past that we just can't get access to. Because it was like, it came out in Japan and that's it. Because it wasn't a mainline game, they were like, no point exporting this.
Yeah, okay.
And then you're like, well, how many games are in the Yakuza series? And they're like, oh, there's like 52 of them. And you're like, oh, shit. And like, yeah. And that doesn't even include the pachinko machines.
Kind of curious on that one.
Yeah, look it up. But as I said, I was like, with the best will in the world, I'm never going to really get the time to sit down and play all of the Yakuza games. However, if I can do it for the channel, I can sit down and play the Yakuza games, but also be doing some work at the same time, which is a win-win. And therefore, it makes good, smart decisions. The only issue...
King 13?
Yeah, that sounds like that could be right. Again, though, as I said, I don't know how many spin-offs there are. I know there's many, but...
Well, this is just basically key spin-offs and related titles.
Okay. Yeah, so basically, I was going, okay, it's a good game. I enjoy it, so I'm going to do it. So I sat down, I played it. The names, guys. I am a Westerner who has never spoken Japanese.
Yes.
But also, I'm a Westerner. So, the names do not come naturally to me. At all.
No.
At all. And like, it's one of those things where it's like, if you say the name without like putting a little bit of the accent into it, it just doesn't sound right.
Yeah.
Like Kiryu, but if you're like
Kiryu,
you're like, oh yeah, that's how they say it. And then in situations where it's like they say some of the character names, and you're like, if I was to just try and pronounce that in the way that we talk, you're like, we're way off. There's like one character called like Nishi Nishikihami or something like that.
Okay.
And it's like, if I was to pronounce that the way that we pronounce it, we're using the sounds that those letters and combinations of letters make in the Western tongue, it would be like ni, shai, iki, or something like that.
Yeah.
But it's not, and it's like, so it's just one of those games where when you're playing it and you see a name, you're like, okay. Until someone actually says this person out loud, I have no idea how this is going to go.
I don't think I do too bad.
Again,
Then again, I watch a lot of anime.
As I said, the big issue is that, like, whenever you're dealing with stuff, especially like a foreign language that uses a completely different system of writing. So, like, when you go to somewhere like Europe and you've got the European languages,
Yeah.
well, they're all Latin based. And while English isn't really, it's a whole big thing there, but
Yeah, there's some minor parts.
it steals and takes, and it's
Yeah.
a combination of about a million different languages at this point.
Yeah, pretty much.
But so it hasn't really got a singular base, because it's like, oh, this word, oh, well, that word comes from the Greek. Oh, excellent. But this word, oh, that word comes from the Latin. Oh, and this word, oh, that comes from the French, which also comes from the Latin, but French is already taking the Latin and changing it, and so we're taking the Latin and changing it to French and then changing it to English. And so,
Yeah.
and then it's like, oh, and what about this word? Oh, that's Germanic, and
There's a lot.
we just go down a rabbit hole where it's
Yes.
like, how it is, and that's why when people will be like, oh yeah, the English language is really hard to learn. Yeah, it fucking is, because unlike every other fucking language, that's like, we're based on this. So if you can understand that simple fact, you will understand our language.
Yes.
The English language is like, we're based on this, except like, one of my favorite things that I always bring up when I'm working with English related subjects is, you remember the old thing they taught us in primary school when we were tiny children?
That's what I'm thinking
I
of.
before E except after C, which isn't a rule because it's an exception,
Yes.
but when you actually then apply that, you go, oh, actually, incorrect. It's just incorrect. It's not even a right exception. It's
No.
just, it's like the rule that they're trying to teach you has an exception in the rule. That is just not right at all. It's not right. It's barely ever right.
I'm aware.
And they're like, oh, but that's something that if we teach you, you'll understand it and you can use. No, but you can't, because it doesn't work. And it's like, that's the problem with the English language. For every rule, there is an exception.
Yeah.
Whereas with other languages, like Italian, right? I spent a bit of time learning Italian when I was much younger. But Italian is a language that has... fuck me. Italian is a language that has male and female words.
Correct, yes.
What that means is that when you are talking about something, you have to use the correct ending.
Yes.
So masculine is an O, feminine is an A.
Yes.
And the sounds that they make.
Yeah, of course.
But what that means is that we sit there, and if I was talking about Kris and I used the feminine words, I would be incorrect. And that sounds crazy to an English speaker.
It does.
Because if I say Kris is ugly, I don't have to then specify that I'm saying he's an ugly male. I just have to say that he's ugly. And for English speakers, we go, so having these masculine and feminine words, that sounds crazy. Until you put it into practice and you go, oh, it's not. It's really not. It's just that you have to remember this one rule, which is masculine has this, feminine has this.
Yeah.
And it never changes. Whereas in English, we're like, wow, this is this and that is this, but also this is also exactly the same thing, but if you use it in this context, it's incorrect. It's like, yeah, you wonder why people are like, it's incredibly hard to learn as a second language. Because it just doesn't have any set rules. And, yeah.
Well, as long as you don't want to get super good at writing.
Oh, it's not even writing, right?
So reading... See, I think speaking it, you can sort of get away with it a bit.
You can sort of. It kind of depends. It also depends on who you're with, because here's the thing about the English language. As a native speaker and as someone who knows a lot of native speakers, I would dare say 80% of the native speakers can't actually use the English language.
No, no.
Which is an issue, because the one good thing about it is that it is incredibly versatile.
Yes, yeah.
Because, like, if you think about other languages, when they say big or huge or gigantic, it's just the same word. They just use the same word, and it's the context that you go, oh, okay, they mean it this way. Whereas we have 12 different words to describe something being large.
Yeah.
And while people go like, well, isn't that confusing? It's like, it can be, but each one of them is a descriptor of a different type.
Yeah. It's legitimately this one's bigger than the last one.
Yeah,
this one's bigger again.
Or like, if you were to say something is gigantic, well, big and gigantic both mean large, but their connotation is different.
Yeah.
And if you were to say something was of monstrous size, right? Yeah. Again, large, but because we use the term monstrous, we're also not thinking friendly. So there's a whole lot of kind of stuff you can use if you know how to use the English language correctly. But I think the biggest thing for learning it is half the people you're going to be interacting with don't use it correctly.
Correct.
Don't have a clue of how to use it correctly and have no intention of learning how to use it correctly.
Yes.
Which means that the best way to learn a language is to immerse yourself in that language. Well, the English language isn't really ever being used to its fullest, so it's very hard to get immersed in it.
True, yeah.
And if you were a traveller coming to Australia from a far-off country, and you go out and hang out in pubs and clubs and stuff, you're going to not get any of the English language. You're not immersing yourself in it at all.
No.
You're generally immersing yourself in people who can barely throw together 3 sentences.
Yeah, so they've got to change many words to make it easier for
Simplify.
themselves.
They simplify.
Well, yes, they do, but they also don't.
Yeah, well,
It makes it harder for a lot of other people.
Well, it's simplified for them.
Yeah.
But if you were to go and sit with, people who are like the scholarly type, then you would be immersed in a lot more, but you would also be confused a lot more because they will use a more varied vocabulary.
Yes.
And you will be lost because they'll use 20 different words to mean the same thing. And you'll be like, oh, hang on, so, oh, wait, that word also means, oh, wait, But you will get a better feel for why the English language has its advantages. Because I do believe that. I do believe that the English language is the best language for someone who wants to express themselves.
Okay,
Because
yeah, I can see that.
we can. We don't just have, like, well... And this is something that I've, picked up a lot in anime, looking at subs, where you hear the same word, but every time they'll write it differently.
Yeah, they will.
Because you'll hear the word and you'll go, oh, that's the word that I heard last time. And you're like, and last time that meant, this time they're saying it's gigantic. And they'll just keep using the same word, but then they'll use the context to put the English word there that best describes the situation.
And then even then it depends on who's doing the sub.
True.
Yeah.
But with the English words, you're kind of sitting there going, yeah, that's right. Because we actually have words that have the connotations built into them.
Yes.
Whereas a lot of other cultures and a lot of other languages, it's like, this is the word. And this is how you understand what they mean. Look around and understand the context.
Yeah.
Which is good. It's always, you should always be trying to understand the context of the words. And you should be taking in the situation you're in to understand what they mean. Because, if someone's sprinting towards you, being chased by someone with a knife and they say run, that's probably a different context to if you're standing in a park with a few of your friends and someone says run.
Yeah, true.
Different contexts require different responses.
Yeah.
But the same words can be used. And the thing is that in English, we take some of that context away by having words that you can use to signify that context.
Well, yes, yeah.
Now, that doesn't make it any easier because the person who's using those words has to understand the context, and you, as the listener, has to understand the context that comes from those words. But it just does give you a lot more freedom. And probably one of the greatest things, if you're a literary mind, is that you can you can say big 20 times on a page, but never just say big 20 times on a page.
Yeah.
Which is great, because if you're
It
a
is.
reader, when you read big, and then you read big again, and then you read big, and then big, and you get to the end of the page and you've read 20 bigs, you go, wow, this is not a good author.
Yeah.
Whereas when they use other descriptive language, you go, oh, wow, yeah, okay. This author really painted that picture for me.
Well, yeah, true.
But, that's kind of the thing. Whereas, again, in other languages where they like, big is big and everything is just kind of, if they want to describe big, they just use that. Well, there's other contexts that are going on there. But, yes, the English language is great, is a great tool for expressing yourself, because it is just so fast. And the problem with it is it will continue to grow and become even faster.
Yeah, and that's a constant.
But the point that I'm trying to make is that in the Yakuza game, it's Japanese. I think there are other ones where they have them speaking English and stuff, but in the original ones, or the earlier ones, it was just subtitled Japanese.
Yeah.
When they decided to have actual talking at all, a lot of it doesn't have talking because it's easier that way. They just make occasional noises.
True. That was the way they used to do it.
Yep. But it's not based, Japanese is not based on a European language.
No.
So when you see A, they're not making the A sound, because if I'm not mistaken, from the month that I spent learning Japanese, the way that they do words is sounds. It's actually syllabic sounds. So it's this symbol here is actually these three letters making this specific sound.
Yes.
And it's cool. That's not the way I know letters. Because, let's be real, yes, English has a very similar thing where it's if you see SH, you know that it's a sh sound.
Yeah.
But, at the same time, that sh sound is just s and h put together.
Yeah.
But, anyway. So, when I see that and it's oh, read this Japanese name or place or whatever, and you're oh, well, the way I would read that is each individual letter, but the way that the Japanese would interpret that is these letters make this sound, these letters make this sound. So it's not, here's a 12-letter word, you sound out every letter. It's, here's a 12-letter word, there's 4 sounds in this.
Yeah, it's a bit of an odd one, because you read it out and it's you look at it, each individual letter, but whenever I'm reading something that's got a Japanese name, word, or anything in it, my immediate thought is group it into 2s or 3s.
Yeah.
Whichever one actually works.
And that's kind of where I run into the issue with a lot of the Japanese names, is that it's okay, so these, where do the sounds, where should the sounds be ending? It's what is the sounds that I want to hear?
It's something that you can sort of pick up over time. It's difficult, but
it is, but as I said,
well, difficult for us.
As someone who hasn't spent a whole lot of time learning Japanese, I did learn Indonesian, but the fun fact about Indonesian is that Indonesian actually uses a more Western way of doing things. Their alphabet is very similar to ours.
Yeah.
But yeah, so when I see Japanese names and stuff, even written in their English version, or whatever the term is that they use to when they write it out in in English letters, I'm I can blunder through that, but it's not. I know it's not going to be right, because as a native English reader or a speaker, I know that I'm going to put emphasis on spots that there probably aren't. Because it's oh no, this blocks a word where you put emphasis on the I, because in English we tend to put emphasis on vowels. It's there's no emphasis on the I. It's just it's just part of this sound.
Yep.
And it's oh, okay. And that's just something that I always find when I play Japanese games with Japanese names. Yeah. Usually it doesn't bother me too much, but with the Yakuza games, they are 100% set in Japan, so it's not oh, we're in a fantasy world where we're just using Japanese names. And it's like, then like 99% of everything else is like Western names.
Yeah.
It's like, no, this one is like, we are set in
Japan.
In a place called like Kamiyuchi or something like that. It's, again, when I read it, I'm like, and then hear them say it, I'm like, that is not how I would pronounce that at all. But yeah, but as I said, I really like the Yakuza games. They are so much fun. They are so weird. They're wonderful.
True.
Quite literally, crime, intrigue, and just the weirdest crap you'll ever see. I think in the very first episode, not only do I get framed for a murder, but I also go out and do karaoke. Very seriously, because I'm a very serious Yakuza.
Of course.
So when I do karaoke, I do it seriously. I punch some drunks into being sober.
Okay.
And the game refers to someone wearing an Argyle sweater as trendy. So, weird game.
Fair enough.
But yeah, so that's Yakuza. Gonna follow the story. They're kind of long. The plan here is to not play like I would if I was just playing it for myself, which is to go and do as much as I can. I'm going to try and avoid a lot of it. A lot of the side stuff that's not really important, or a lot of the stuff that just doesn't gain any real benefits.
True.
And then just a lot of the weird stuff. Like, I probably won't spend any time at the like phone. No, I think the phone booth's in a later game. It's pretty much like a sex hotline.
Oh,
that you can call as your character.
Okay.
But there's also like video stores where you can go in and watch like. It's not adult entertainment, but it's sort of there. It's like women in lingerie running around, but like actual videos of women in lingerie running around. And it's like, okay. So it's like, that doesn't add to the story.
No.
It's just a weird thing that the game's put in there. That doesn't need to be, I don't need to partake in that. But the story stuff and like kind of like some of the funnier side stories and stuff like that would definitely be involving, because, I think if you follow the story of Yakuza, like just the story, you go, this is sort of weird. But, it's a pretty, it's sort of like a GTA kind of, like, that kind of weirdness.
I've heard that.
Where you'd be like, oh, that's a little bit weird, but, people are weird, and you play the crime game. Whereas if you go off some of the side stories, you're sitting there going, aren't I playing a crime game where I'm, like, being framed for a murder? And it's like, you are. And it's like, cool, because this has gone completely off the hinges. I don't know if it's in this one or another one, but there is a part of one of the Yakuza games where you have to help a guy who is running through the streets with just some bubbles covering his
areas.
Yes.
Yeah.
I was gonna say his privates, I guess is the best thing.
Yeah.
And your job is to stop him getting wet so that
the bubbles stay there.
The bubbles stay there. And like, that's what your serious crime man is deciding to spend one of his evenings doing.
That's something.
Yeah. So Yakuza is really fun, and but yeah, I do struggle sometimes, especially when I'm like, there are times when a character pops up and I'm like, I think I know this character.
Yeah.
But until someone says their name, I'm not even going to attempt it.
Fair.
But yeah, Kiryu. That's the main character, and I know that pretty well. And again, when I say it, it doesn't sound anything like how it should sound.
Oh.
Because I don't put the emphasis right, but...
Well, fair.
I'm also not Gojo, who when I say Gojo, it's...
I know. I'm aware.
But yeah, when he says his name in the later games, when he just keeps sneaking up on him, and he's just like, yeah.
Yeah.
I think he calls him Kun? Is that the... Kun. That's the younger male.
Yes, I believe it was.
Oh yeah, I'm pretty sure he like sneaks around the streets calling you that, and then like pops out from under like giant traffic cones and shit.
Okay.
Okay. But yeah, that's Yakuza, guys, and that's why I want to play, because it's such a fun game.
Yeah.
And I feel like until recently, a lot of people were just kind of like, "Oh, it's just a Japanese crime game. It's like Japanese Grand Theft Auto. Why would I play it?" And it's like, because it's way better than
because it's way better and way weirder, and it's exactly what I would expect.
It's exactly what you want in a game. I would call them AA games, because I don't think they've ever really pulled like the AAA ranking.
No,
they've made really well, but I don't think you would ever call them AAA. But again, like they're just so well made and they're so fun. And unlike the Grand Theft Auto games, which I always feel go for size over content, this is definitely a content over size game.
Yeah, it makes sense. That sums up Yakuza.
That was Yakuza.
From there, Wednesday is Red Dead.
It was Red Dead. So I played a bit of Red Dead. Again, avoiding Dutch completely because he's a dickhead. So I went and did some other missions. Hung out with Lenny, because Lenny's like one of my 5 top favorite characters from that game.
Yeah.
He's just he's such a good character. He's full of life. He's young. He's starry-eyed. Just like Red Dead has some really funny things in it. Like really funny kind of like real world things where you're like, this is a really cool, good character. Sucks what happens to them. And it's all because of Dutch, because Dutch is a fucking dickhead.
Sounds right.
And that's why I hate Dutch, because like, look, no one who Arthur's close to, because they're all bad people, is a good person. But
fair.
For a lot of them, they're just like naive kids. Like that's the thing when you look at a lot of them. Like when you realize that like Arthur's like mid-30s at the latest.
Yeah.
And you're like, oh, and everyone's like, oh yeah, Arthur, he's like one of the old hands. Everyone else is like kids, like
early 20s.
Early 20s, late teens kind of stuff is when you're like looking at some of these, and they're like, maybe a few of them are a little bit older, like mid-20s.
Yeah.
But it's like, knowing people that age, I'm like, yeah, if you met a charismatic kind of person who was like, hi, let me tell you about living free and all this kind of stuff, especially in today's world. I could see so many people like that getting pulled into these situations, and then Dutch is just a dickhead who takes advantage of like all of their goodwill and enthusiasm. And it's sad. But that's kind of what makes it interesting. But yeah, so Lenny is like, he's one of the best characters, because he's just like this enthusiastic kid, and always trying to prove himself. And yeah, spoilers if you haven't played this game, but he gets done real dirty at the end.
I haven't played the game. I'll wait to see it.
But yeah, he gets done dirty, and it's all Dutch's fault, and probably Micah's fault as well. But yeah. So I get to go do another mission with him. There was a downside though, unfortunately. I got outgat. I don't know why. It's happened twice now with Red Dead Redemption.
Okay.
But the sound will just go like, no, and it will become like really, really crackly. Last time it was like the last 10 minutes of a recording, and I was like, okay.
Yeah.
This time it was the whole recording, and so I did my best to save it. Unfortunately, there's not a lot. Best situation I could have done was go back and try and record it all again, but unfortunately that isn't going to happen, because an hour of time has passed. There's saves and everything, so I can't just go back to the point where I was at and go back.
Yeah.
So that's unfortunate, but sometimes that happens. I don't know what it is. It hates Red Dead Redemption. And I was like, oh, like when I was doing the editing, and I was like, oh, maybe my headphones are like not plugged in correctly. I was like, no, that's just the game sound. I went and checked everything, opened up other games, did recordings just to check what the sound quality was coming through. Perfectly fine. It was just Red Dead Redemption. And as I said, it's done it twice now, so I just don't think my Elgato likes Red Dead Redemption at all.
No.
But anyway, Yeah, Red Dead Redemption. So I got to hang out with Lenny. We went and shot some people. Classic stuff.
Yeah.
Got a new gun, so I went and spent all my money making that look nice.
What? Yeah.
Because that's what I do. That's what I do. Yeah, and then just did everything I can to avoid Dutch. Because I'll say this, right?
Yeah.
Red Dead Redemption 2, my top 5 favorite characters: Arthur Morgan, Micah Bell,
yep,
Lenny, Sadie Adler.
Okay.
And probably the 5th one is... I don't know if I like Sean or Kieran better. No, it's got to be Charles. Charles is definitely in the top 5 because Charles is like the only moral person in that whole camp.
Of course.
And like Charles is absolutely great. He's like literally 90% of the reason why Arthur Morgan makes good guy choices. Like whenever you're on a mission with Charles, you're like, okay, we're gonna take the moral high ground here because Charles is fucking brilliant.
Yeah.
Sadie Adler is another absolutely brilliant character. She's just good fun, and all of her missions are like actually fun. She gets a little bit crazy at the end, but that's fair. Lenny is just, as I said, he's a great character, young, enthusiastic. Micah, absolutely hate him. He's the worst character, but he does make my favorite top 5 list because without him, you wouldn't have this antagonistic kind of thing.
Yeah, okay, yeah.
He is like the driving force of moral corruption that everyone is having. And you need that in this game to kind of make everything that happens in the next game, which is Red Dead Redemption 1, because it's a sequel, or this is a prequel to it. But you kind of need someone like Micah who's like making this group of people who as Arthur, you're like, I like these people, I like hanging out with them. You need someone who's literally pulling them all down to make them the worst they can be. And that's what Micah does. And he does it so well that you just have to be like,
okay,
without him, this game wouldn't be anywhere near as good.
Yeah, okay.
He's a love-to-hate character. You need him, but if he wasn't there, you would be like you'd still hate Dutch, because Dutch is a dick, but...
yeah.
Dutch is nowhere near as good as Micah in like just hateability, and that's what makes Micah a better character.
Fair. Okay. Fair. Makes sense.
And then obviously Arthur Morgan. Now, if you've played the Red Dead and you're like, John wasn't on that list. No, I think in Red Dead Redemption 2, John absolutely sucks. Like he is shit. Red Dead Redemption 1, he's great. He's a great character, but Red Dead Redemption 2, he's a shitty character. He's just not a good person.
Okay.
He's kind of useless.
Okay. Yeah, well, yeah.
But if your main bad guy was Dutch, you'd feel so fucking annoyed because Dutch is just a dick. He's not Micah. He's not someone who actively like, I hate you.
I hate you.
Exactly.
Completely.
It's like, I fucking hate you and I hate everything about you, and that's impressive. Whereas Dutch is kind of like, Dutch, you're just a fucking piece of shit.
Yeah.
And you're like, and it's like, yeah, like Micah is unapologetically a dick, whereas Dutch is like always trying to be like, no, I'm doing it for everyone's benefit, and you're just like, no, Dutch, you're just a fuckwit.
Yeah, fair, that makes sense.
But like, the reason I bring that up is like every time I go back to camp now in the game, there's like always an argument happening. I'm like, and just a reminder that everyone here is literally the worst.
Yeah.
And it's like, yeah, and that's kind of, and it's all Dutch's fault because that's kind of the whole thing. And it's like everyone is like going at each other, and Dutch is just like, no, follow the plan. I have a plan, and you're just like, fuck.
God.
And like as you're playing the game, Arthur's like going like, Dutch doesn't have a plan. Like Arthur knows, it's just that he's been with Dutch and the group for so long that it's just like, I'm not doing anything different.
No.
But he's not buying Dutch's bullshit. Whereas, like, so many of the younger ones are, and they're like, but Dutch has a plan. Arthur's like, Dutch says a lot of things and stuff like that.
Yeah.
And then you got Hosea, who is just, like, he's the other leader of the gang, and he's, like, the good leader of the gang. Like, he's the smart one, the one that you would actually be like, okay, this guy should be in charge.
Yeah.
But, unfortunately, he's not. And He's the same. Like, him and Arthur are like, Dutch, what the fuck are you actually doing? And Dutch is like, no, you guys got to stop questioning everything I do. And we're like, dude, we're questioning everything you do because everything you do leads to shit.
Yeah.
And that's sort of the game in a nutshell. It's like understanding that as you get older, you need to stop following people based on what they say and start actually evaluating people based on what they do. But I think a lot of that is lost because,
you
know, it's a fun cowboy game, right? And it's like,
So
yeah, it's a fun cowboy game, but every interaction you have with the gang, you should be sitting there going like, oh, right, so we've got these younger group who are just going along with what Dutch says. We've got these older group who are kind of like, Dutch, come on. And then you've got the few middle characters like Sadie and Charles, who haven't been with the gang very long, who are kind of just like, Dutch is an idiot, right? And Arthur's like, yes, but
yes,
don't say that to anyone else because, you know, there are a lot of people respect him, and you're like, why? Why?
It's a good question.
Anyway, Dutch is a bad character, and I just hate him. I just fucking hate him. And like, every chance that I can avoid doing Dutch missions, even though they're needed to progress the story, is like, yeah, I'm gonna go do something else instead of working with Dutch because I just don't want to see him.
Okay, fair enough.
Like, again, as I said, Micah, I love seeing Micah because I'm like, maybe I can stick some dynamite down his pants and blow him up. Dutch, I'm like, do I really just have to sit here and listen to this idiot?
Yes, you do.
But I think that's something that I just have with a lot of characters, is like, I just don't like dumb characters who are like, nah, trust me, I'm smart. And you're like, no, you're not. I have a lot of issues with fictional characters who have the ability to do something smarter but don't. And Dutch gets on my nerves.
Makes sense.
He's not the worst, but he gets
He's
on my nerves there. Then obviously, guys, Friday we have the podcast.
Yeah.
If you're watching this, thank you for joining us. But that's it for this week. So
it is.
Subscriber count, Kris?
344.
Cool. That's me. I will be honest with you. That has been playing Jump Rope all week.
Okay.
Like, so last week when I put the podcast out, we were at 346.
Okay.
Then we went down to 344.
Yeah.
Then we were back at 345.
Okay.
Like, every day it's been a different number.
Oh.
Yeah. Like, sometimes.
Weird.
I kid you not, the other day I was like on the channel doing something and I was like, oh, we're back at 344.
Yeah.
And then like 2 minutes later I was like, okay, refresh this page. Oh, we're at 346. And then the next day I refreshed it. Oh, we're at 345. Then the next day I refreshed it. We're at 346. Next day 340. And I'm just like, what the fuck is going on? We've just been playing Jump Rope with these numbers.
Okay, fair enough.
Yeah. Awesome.
I think that sums it all.
I think that just about wraps up channel news, guys. So moving on. And basically, Kris, I don't want to talk about the video game industry today.
No.
Basically,
done it enough recently.
The video game industry is bad at the moment. There are always some bright lights, things to look forward to, but I think an overall general thing is that everything is bad, and there are some positives that are coming from it. Apparently, the $80 or $100 video games aren't selling. So all the stuff that kind of where companies were like, video game prices have to go up. Well, no one's been buying those games, so video game prices are kind of coming back down again so that people will buy the games because, as good as it is to have someone buy your game for $80, it's much better to have someone buy your game.
Yes.
And so just from the statistics of what has been happening, it does seem like they put the video game prices up being like, okay, if we have the sales we've been having at this higher price point, which in America was like $10, in Australia was like $25 up.
Yeah.
But they went, if we can have the same sales at this high price point, more money.
Yeah.
But, and this is why I love it, because they charge $10 more, but and this is not on real statistics, this is just like an analogy number, but it was like they were selling half as many games. So they were making $10 more off every game, but overall they were losing more money.
Yeah.
Because again, and I think we've spoke about this in the past, the way to make money isn't to sell stuff for more money, but to sell more product. Now, that has its issues. Obviously, once everyone in the world owns your game, you can't sell that to them anymore unless, you're Bethesda or Naughty Dog and you go, well, hang on, you own our game, but you don't own the new version of this game.
The remaster.
Is it the same version? Yes. What have you changed? This one has slightly better shadows. You should buy it now. Yeah, I'm not going to do that. But anyway, point is that...
Don't lie to yourself. You did it.
I did, but actually, no, I didn't.
You didn't? Okay.
You want to know the truth?
Okay.
I buy the same game. Not a better version of that game.
That's not
the same game.
That is not better.
No, it's actually much worse.
Yes.
But I also think it's better. Because that means I'm not the problem. Here's my logic on this one, guys. If you are someone who, when the company goes, here's the slightly better version of the game, and it's not really. What they've done is been like, oh, now that it's been like 4 years, we've packaged all the DLCs into the game. Yeah. It's like, dude, I already bought all the DLCs. I don't need a new game. And that's the only change we've made. I'm like, no, I'm not fucking buying that.
Yeah.
Or they go like, oh, we've made the graphics slightly better. Generally at a cost to the gameplay because they've upped the graphics, but they haven't upped anything else.
Yeah.
I don't buy those games because I'm like, I don't care. What I do is go like, oh, I really like this game.
I need it on everything.
Yes. Or the other one is I really like this game. It says I don't own it and it's really cheap. I'll buy it, and then I'm like, I'm sure I own it, and then I'm like, oh, I own it on this console. I say, oh, I own the disc of it. Yeah. I just bought the digital. So that's how I do. I'm not part of the problem where I'm like, they've said this is a slightly upgraded version. I must have it. I'm just like, I'm gonna buy this game, and then I'm like, I really like this game. This is not how I would prefer to play it, so I'm gonna play it on this. And yes,
fair.
Or in the case of, like the Halo games.
Yeah.
I destroyed the disc for one of them, so I couldn't play it anymore. Like, quite literally, the disc chips chunks of the disc came in, so I had to buy it again.
Yeah.
Or, as I said, I own a lot of copies of a lot of games, but generally on different platforms.
Yes. Okay, we should move away from the gaming industry, like you said you wanted to talk about.
My point is that maybe we've actually won something here because game prices might continue to come down.
That'd be nice.
The winning thing here is maybe we'll get games we actually want to play.
Yeah.
But the reason I bring that up is that what I actually want to talk about here is a different gaming industry, a better gaming industry, the board gaming industry.
Oh, fair. Yes.
Which, if you're not a board gamer like I am, you'll know that if someone said to you, hey, here's a $70 board game, you'd be like, absolutely, I'll buy that, because board games are expensive.
Yeah.
Really expensive. And everything that goes along with them is also expensive.
Yes.
But the reason I bring that up is because, I think it's kind of a funny kind of comparison thing. Because it's like, I sit there and I go, I'm not spending $160 on a video game.
Yeah.
I have in the past and probably will again drop $300+ on a board game.
Yeah.
Which has worse graphics, worse mechanics, way worse game. No. Basically
the whole gameplay depends on who you're playing.
Exactly. But
in other words, if it's got way worse gameplay, in reality, you just don't have good friends.
And that's it. That's kind of my point. Is that what I was trying to make is that I am someone who has spent a lot of money. Like even if you look into like just some of the stuff I've bought recently, which aren't individual games, but yes, Kris is looking up at Eclipse Second, Dawn of the Universe, or Galaxy. Can't remember which one. Which is an expensive game. I think I spent something like $250 on sale for it. It was like a 45% off sale, and I was like, I must buy it.
Yes.
But it's such a good game. Like,
It
it is a very good game. I've only played it once since buying it. My friend owned the original. I played a lot of that.
Yeah.
I know how good the game is. But I've only played my copy once because I just don't have the friend group here to play a game like that often with.
Yeah.
Which is something I want to get into this year. And that's stuff that I want to do this year that like I want to get into, like fortnightly game nights, as well as maybe monthly roleplay, TT RPG kind of stuff. And my point is, like, people will go like, oh, but you're complaining about the video game industry. I'm like, yeah, but the thing is, right, with board games, yes, I get the board game. I have the same game.
Yes.
You know, no matter how each time I play it is slightly different to the last, it is just one game. But the thing is, me and my friends make the fun there when we're playing that game, whereas in the video game, I'm relying heavily on someone else to make it fun.
Yeah. Yeah.
And the problem is that they've burnt that bridge. Now, don't get me wrong, there's a lot of board games and stuff out there that are following the trends of the video game industry and weakening their own product. I kind of look at Games Workshop and the Warhammer tabletop game.
Yeah.
They're doing this, you know, they're doing some weird stuff, making models that are kind of weird. And
okay,
they made a Space Marine buggy. Like, it kind of reminds me of a beach buggy for the Space Marines.
Oh,
you know the Space Marines, the big dudes
who
really run around with chainsaw fucking swords and like to cover themselves in the gore of their enemies.
Yeah.
And now they've got a little two-person beach buggy.
Well, at least the gore's still going to hit them.
But, you know, like, they do some things where you're like, oh, that's cool. And they do some things where it's like, oh, that's not cool. And then they do some things where you're just like, what are you even doing?
Yeah.
Which, and I don't play Warhammer at all. I've played a little bit of it, but I don't own any parts of it. But I am a big fan of this series, and like I've often wanted to get some of the stuff to do painting and modeling of because I enjoy that as a hobby.
Yeah. I
don't want to play the game, but I feel like I'm missing out on some of like the good stuff.
Understandable.
And I just feel like, you know, for more mainstream popularity, which is crazy because, you know, they already had mainstream popularity. Maybe not, but they had money and that's what counts.
Pretty much.
It's like you can have mainstream popularity where you're making no money, and that's great. Everyone knows about you, but you're not making any money. Or you can, you know, cater to the people who love your stuff and will spend money on it. Yeah. And if you do that, you'll have a solid fan base and make money. Whereas if you cater to people who are never going to spend money on your stuff, you got nothing, because the fan base that you build go, well, you sold out for these people who aren't going to help you.
Yeah, pretty much.
But yeah, so basically the thing that I kind of wanted to talk about is that, like, yeah, I've spent so much money on board games and tabletop games and so much stuff, and I can't play them anywhere near as much as I play video games, because I don't need 6 other people to play a video game. Or at least I don't need to be with 6 other people in the same room as me.
Yes. Which
has its own issues. Smell is one of them.
Yeah.
The underlooked thing of playing board games is the smell.
That's why you go to certain places, and I can't remember where it was, but there was a sign on the door that basically says that if you're
don't close the door.
No. Like, if you're going to that place to play like a board game or a card game night or anything like that, there is a sign on the door that says, "Please make sure you have showered before entering."
Yeah. Well, so let's talking about that aspect of, you know, people just being grotty.
Well, yes.
More the fact that, like, so when we used to play board games in college, right? We would generally be in a room about the size of this, but you might have 5 or 6 people.
Yeah.
Sitting in that room playing for several hours.
Yeah.
And
the smell tends to.
Yeah, you just get the smell of human in there.
Yeah.
If you're wondering what that smells like, it just smells like human.
Yeah.
You walk in and you go, oh, there's a smell in here. But if you've been in there, you don't notice it.
Yeah.
And basically, the reason that happens is when you're in a confined area, and when we were, like, because you'd close the door so you didn't disturb anyone else, and you'd have the window and the fan going, but that's not really enough flow.
True.
But, like, I've seen that happen even in places, like, where you wouldn't think. So, like, there's been times I've been playing, like, board games with 4 people in a well-ventilated area.
Yeah.
And, like, you walk out and you come back in the room and you go, oh, yeah, there's a bit of that human funk on.
Yeah.
And it's just because you've been sitting in an area for so long. The more people you have, the more the funk comes up.
Yeah, that's pretty much it.
But the reason I bring it up is, like, I spend a lot of money on board games. I love board games. I want to play more board games.
Yes.
But the thing is, I never regret buying a board game.
True.
I don't have that with nearly every other entertainment thing I buy. There's always something where I'm like, no, I kind of regret doing that now. And it's never as much money.
No.
Like, I will drop, like, 300. Like, I've got 2 board games sitting on my wish list, which are both over 300, plus the expansions for Eclipse, that I think are like 150 each. And I'm going to buy them, and I'm not going to regret buying them.
Nope.
But I dropped $40 on a video game. I might regret that purchase.
You might do.
And that's the thing.
Hilarious.
It's like, board games are never a disappointment to me because basically I get to spend some time hanging out with my mates.
True.
Drinking, eating, having a good time. And when I think back to some of the best kind of times we've had, I think back to times where we've been sitting around drinking and playing board games.
Yeah.
And that's, like, I don't even, with most of my friends, I don't even get to bring out my good board games. Yeah. I like bring out the ones where it's like, this has a very simple rule.
This is good for most of you.
Yeah.
Because like, how many people in this friend group can handle the bigger stuff?
Yeah. Well, yeah. That's sort of like how I gauge what kind of board games I can play with people is I'm like, hey, have you guys ever played board games? And if they say Monopoly, I'm like, cool, so no. no is your answer.
Yeah.
And they're like, no, but I play a lot of Monopoly. And it's like, yeah, no. So, I think I always have to explain to people who've only ever really, like, played Monopoly or, like, the game of life and stuff like that. That's like, no, so you've never played a board game. And they're like, what do you mean? And you're like, basically...
You played a family game night game. That is what you've played.
Oh, no, it's not even that, because Monopoly isn't a board game. It's not fun. It's not designed to be fun. It's like Monopoly is actually designed to make you not have fun. That's part of the game.
Pretty much.
Because it's not a game, it's a social lesson.
Like, don't get me wrong.
It's a social lesson on why monopolies are bad and how you can't beat the system. That's it.
It's pretty much it. Like, don't get me wrong. We can have fun while playing it, but that's
yes,
what
but that's because
doing.
we're entertaining,
exactly.
Not the game itself.
Fucking
the game
shutting the goddamn fucking internet off.
The game itself is as I said, it's literally a lesson on monopolies are bad, but no matter what you do, you can't beat the system. So yes, these are bad. They're going to happen. There's nothing you can do about it because you have no power.
And it's funny
in our system.
It's always the best. Like, at the start of the game, no one has any problems, and then towards the end of the game, it's like, no, I don't want to move.
No, because
I don't want my turn anymore.
That's the moral lesson.
Yeah.
That's the thing that it's trying to show you is that at the start of the game, when it is a free market and everyone can do what they want, it is a rush to grab stuff.
Yeah. And
you've got people making deals and everything, and what that is actually saying is to the people who are not in these deals and not, they're still able to play at this point, but if you're not involved, you lose your power incredibly quickly. Yeah. By the fourth round of the game, you can already tell if you've been fucked over.
Oh, yeah.
And when you're sitting there going, shit, it's the fourth round of a game. I'm not going to be out of this game for probably another 2 hours, but I'm out of this game. I can see it. It's not fun. It's not supposed to be fun. It's supposed to show you the problem with the world that we live in. But again, and this is the problem with it, is like it's showing you the problem of the world we live in. However, we're not in the first 2 rounds where we can actually make a difference. No. We're like in round 50 where all the money's settled and the only thing you can do is keep going around and keep paying. And so it's like, it's saying like, this is the society we live in and this is how fucked it is. But hey, don't worry, because if we catch it early enough, we can stop it. You know, that's why when I play, I purposely make bad deals. Or I only make deals like I've played with you guys where I tend to be a little bit more aggressive, but I've also played with other people where I just make bad deals. I go like, oh, you want this? Here you go. Here's a bad deal, and I'm like, because that's how I have fun playing the game. Yeah. The other side is that if you actually want to win Monopoly, you can never make a bad deal. And what I mean by that is you can't make a deal in Monopoly. A bad deal is a deal where someone else gains something. Yeah. Because that's a bad deal because they're gaining something. Yeah. You have to make every deal where only you gain. Yeah. And people go like, but wait, how does that work? And it's like, you have to be smarter than everyone else at the table and be like, I will trade you this for this. And they go, okay, well, hang on. How do I want that? And this isn't going to do them anything. So excellent. And it's like, I remember the last time we played at your place, and I was sitting on something that I think you wanted. It might have been Caleb wanted.
I think it was Caleb.
And Jordan had something that I wanted, and Jordan was like, I will trade you this or this. And I'm like, no. And he was like, why not? I don't need that, and you want this. I'm like, yes, but you're going to then trade it directly to Caleb, who, if he gets this, he wins.
Pretty much, yeah.
And he was like, yeah, but like then I get what I want and you get what you want, and Caleb. I'm like, that's the problem. You can't have that in this game. You've got to have what can I get that will help me, but not help anyone else. And how can I get things that will only help me? And it's like, it's not a fun game.
Sometimes when playing that, and you having that mindset, I have the thought process of like selling something to, or giving something to Jordan to get something, to gain something, and then he'll be like, cool, if I get this, then I can get it off Darcy. And then my thought process is like, you ain't getting that off Darcy.
I know, which is getting perfect, because exactly. It's like,
because I know you're not going to do it. That's what works for me.
And that's it. That's how you play that game. Yeah. And it's one of the funnier things, because like as you get further in the game, they're like, I will trade you this property and this money for that property, and you're like, no. I will buy that property off you for whatever price you want that I can afford, but I'm not trading you property for it. And they're like, no, I don't want that. And it's like, that's the only deal you're going to get. And it's like, yeah, but why would you give me all of your money for one property? It's like, because
next turn
we're in Monopoly, where money doesn't mean a thing. It's what you own that matters.
Exactly.
And it's like, oh man, like, and that's the thing. I hate Monopoly because it's not a game; it's a lesson, and it's a poorly put together lesson on about how the system works and how too bad, too sad, we're already fucked by it.
Yeah, pretty much.
But the reason that I always bring it up is because that's the game that most people play, and they're like, I've played a board game. I'm not a fan of them. It's like, no, you've played Monopoly.
I can see why you're not a fan of them.
It's not a board game. You've played a lesson. You went to school.
But that's like the good board games are the ones where you read the instructions and you go, let's just start playing.
I am actually I'm a big fan of that, because like the thing is, there's a lot of stuff where, especially in board games, especially in complex board games, you're sitting there going, I've got to read this, and they're like, okay, why? And you're like, no, I need to read at least the first 4 pages of this, so that I understand how to set up and how the game functions. Yeah. Once that's done, I don't need to read the rest of this unless something comes up that we are unclear of. Then I will find it in this book and I will figure out what happens.
And that's how I played them as well, because you're screwed otherwise.
Well, thing is, like, I'm not going to read, and again, this comes from people who don't understand board games, I'm not going to read a 40-page book to play a board game. Not because I don't want to, it's because there are so many parts in there where it's like, in this situation, this is what happens. Yeah. And you listen there and you're going,
how do I get into that? How does someone get into that
situation come up? And it's like, it'll come up probably once.
Yeah.
But because it's so thing, but this is how you solve that. And you go, I don't need to worry about that.
No. We'll cross that bridge when we get to it.
Yes.
And it's like, yeah.
And the only other time is when I have to read something to clarify something to someone else.
Yeah.
Because there's been a few times I've been playing board games and they're like, I was in a situation where I was using special moves that my characters had to circle around this person and take their spot.
Yeah.
And basically what they said was, oh no, I don't have to move. And I was like, actually you do. And they're like, no, because the thing says I may move or I may move. And I was like, no, the rule says you may move all of your people.
Yeah. Which
infers that you have to move some of them.
Yes.
I'm like, you can't just be like, oh, I attacked you, but you used your special ability to run away because that's what your people are good at. But now because I've realized that that's what you wanted to do, I'm not moving my army into this land that I just took off you. I'm leaving them in the land that was more valuable. I'm like, you can't do that. You can leave one of them there.
Yeah.
You can leave two of them there. But you can't just leave your whole army there and be like, no, I'm not moving them because I've realized you've outplayed me. And I'm like, that's not why that is worded like that.
Yeah.
It's just saying you don't have to. If I say to you, I'm attacking with 10 people, I then don't have to, be like, oh, shit, I've left this completely unguarded. I'm like, I can be like, cool, I'm going to move 9 of them in to this new area and leave 1 guarding. It's like, you do have to move some of your men.
Yep.
And the reason he didn't want to was because we had armies of the same size. If I got out with my whole army, even if he'd moved 1, I would then be at a massive advantage.
Oh, yeah.
And he was like, no, I don't want to move any. And I was just like, you have to.
Yeah.
You have to move some of them.
It's too late.
And the other thing about that is that the game we're playing has certain rules about, like, when you're attacking an area, you put the people who are attacking on the border of that region so that you can clearly see how many you're attacking. You don't just leave them in the thing and be like, I'm attacking. And then I, like, kill 4 of your guys and you go, oh, I still have 6 guys attacking. And I'm like, oh, I thought you were only attacking with 4. So it makes it very clear. And I'm like, he just was trying to get around that by...
Yeah.
I was playing with a classic person who I don't usually play with, who, like, was like, I'm smart, and every time they lose and you prove to them that they're not, they're like, no, but I do this. And you're like, well, you can't do that. That's you've already blundered, accept it and move on.
Whereas I will make the joke about doing that, and then continue to just accept that I just lost.
Yeah. But anyway, so the point is that I tend to only read when I need to clarify rules.
Yeah, which makes sense.
The other big thing is that, like, again, because most people play board games where it's like, here are the rules, and it's a sheet of paper. And you're like, yeah, see, that's the rules for Snakes and Ladders. Easy to put on a thing. We're playing a game that has complex
that has a book,
systems. And
if you read too much, you confuse yourself.
Yeah, pretty much.
And that's the biggest thing, because I've been handed a book for. It's like, can you do this? I'm not in any shape to be able to figure this out. Okay, cool, mate. Oh shit, the setup is 6 pages. Fuck. And then you get into playing the game.
Yeah. So,
and it's
Yeah. I have board games that are like that, but like, I've always said that you read through and you go, okay. And as you read through, you go, oh, okay, this whole bit here is unimportant. This bit here is unimportant.
Yeah.
But there's a lot of that. But the reason, the big thing I bring that up is that, like, this year I really want to play more board games and actually make time for playing board games.
Yeah, of course.
And tabletop RPGs and stuff like that, just because they are a good time. If you can get a good crew together, and you kind of have to build up to it because, everyone has to kind of want to be there. And at the beginning, especially when someone's like, oh, can I bring so-and-so? And they're like, and you're like, yeah, absolutely. And they're like, okay, we're going to have fun. And they come in and they're like, oh, yeah, but this is nerd shit. And it's like,
You got to start with something that's easy for everyone.
You go, okay, so this person is coming in being like, I'm too cool for this. But give them a bit of time, let them see it, let them actually play with people properly, and they'll either walk away and never come back, which is fine, it's everyone's prerogative, or they'll realize that, oh, if I actually get into it, it's fun.
Yeah.
And I think that's kind of my biggest issue with a lot of things. It's like, if you sit on the sidelines being like, nah, I don't want to get into it because that's, trying is uncool. Yeah, cool. You're not going to have fun. But if you get in and you give something a fair go and you give it your all and you actually engage with it, you'll either find that you do have fun or you don't have fun. If you don't have fun, cool, it's not for you. But if you do have fun, you'll go like, oh, sweet. And like that's why with like TT RPGs, I'm just like, there are people who I'm like, I don't like this because it's boring. And I watch them and I go, well, no, you're boring. And they're like, huh? And I'm like, you're boring. That's why you're not enjoying it. You refuse to actually participate in the game, which is being a character. You're like, oh, I look in this box. Okay, you look in the box and you roll the dice. Cool. It's like, there are so many people who are like, who come into TTRPG, especially from like seeing it on TV and stuff, or seeing people do it online, and they're like, "Oh, that looks like fun," and they come in and they think that the game is rolling dice. It's like, no. Rolling dice is the mechanic.
It's how we make decisions.
It's the mechanic. It's the part that does things.
Yes.
The game is what you guys do, and that's what I love, because I love playing the games and being a character and doing things like that character does. But there's a lot of people who I've played with and who I've seen play who are like, oh, well, I'm going to do this because this is the best thing to do. And it's like, you can't do that. It's like, why? You don't know about that. But you just told me. You, the person playing that character, know that. Your character doesn't know that. You have to separate the two.
Yep.
And the other one is,
that's why it's the first thing I said to like Sam and Byron the other night. I was just like, if he's talking to me, I'm the one that's your character's not near me. You don't know what I'm talking about.
Yeah, but it's like your character isn't you.
Yeah,
they are someone you are playing as.
Yeah.
The other thing is you have to play as that character. If you're just sitting there going like, oh, I do this, I do that, I do this, you're not playing as that character. If there's a conversation happening, you're sitting there being like, okay, well, now I'm going to do this. And it's like, well, you didn't partake. You're not playing the game. No wonder you're not having fun. Let go of this thing of being like, no, I want to sit here and be cool and become character.
Well, it's like at the end of.
I will give everyone one piece of advice. I've given this to people who I played board games with in university, and the piece of advice is this. If you ever find yourself sitting at a table, be it a D&D table, a Warhammer table, a board game table, any kind of table, participating in a game, you need to change your attitude from, I'm too cool to this, because you're not. You're there now. You're not too cool. You're there.
Yeah.
So you're either going to be the weird person who doesn't participate, which actually makes you worse because you're already not too cool to be there. You're there. So now you're a nerd enough to be there, but you're weird. So now you're just a weird nerd.
Yeah.
If you ever find yourself in those situations, just go with it. Have fun. Yeah. See what everyone else is doing and engage with that, because you're not too cool to be there. You're already there. All right? If you were too cool, you wouldn't be there because you would have something else to do. By being there, you've proven you have nothing else to do, and that these people are actually probably cooler than you because they at least had plans.
Yeah. And just think of something fun to do as well. Like,
you are there. Don't sit there and being like, I'm not going to engage because that shows that I'm cooler than this. No, you're just being weird. Weird nerd. Okay? Like, you, weird nerd. Engage with it, have fun. Accept the fact that you're allowed to be a nerd sometimes. You don't always have to be cool. You don't always have to be the sports car guy. You can be the guy who enjoys nerdy habits as well as going out and partying. You can be multitudes. You can be complex. You don't have to be a fucking cookie cutter.
Yeah.
So if you ever find yourself in that situation, don't sit there being like, I'm too cool for this. I'm going to Snapchat people and be like, oh, look at these nerds playing. You're there. You're just as nerdy as everyone else there. As I said, actually worse, especially if it's your first time and one of them invited you to it and you said, yeah, sure, I've got nothing better to do, because they had plans and you didn't. You are worse than them. You are nerdier. You are more alone than them. Enjoy your time. Be friendly. Have fun. Engage. Put the phone down and just go for it.
Yeah. And
because the worst thing you can do is sit there and being, I'm too cool for this. I'm only going to half-ass it because of how cool I am. You're not. You're already sitting at the table. It's a bit late to pull the cool card. If you want to pull the cool card, pull it before you're over there and be like, no, I'm way too cool to do that. Yeah. They're going to judge you. They're going to be like, oh, okay, have fun, lonely person. But at least you get to maintain your, well, I was too cool to even go to the table. Not, I'm sitting at this table thinking I'm better than everyone else around it.
Yeah. But also, it's fun to throw off the game master as well.
Oh.
Have fun with that. So I was leaving a D&D session one day, and I had to leave early. So he's like, oh, just say that your character walked off. I'm like, nah. So I rolled. And he's like, what are you rolling for? It's like, I jumped into that bush over there. And he's like, so why'd you roll? I'm like, it was a 2. There was a rock in the bush. And he just looks at me and he's like, what's the point of this? He's like, okay, what am I rolling now? I've injured myself. But, and it throws them off because they're like, the fuck do you come up with that? Why?
But like, yeah, and that's the thing. Like, and it's not a hard thing. It's not complex. It's like the whole point of, especially like if you're playing a TTRPG, the whole point is you are, as a group, telling a story.
Yeah.
The Dungeon Master or Game Master isn't there to tell you what to do.
Yeah.
They're there to facilitate the world around you.
Yeah.
And if the players are sitting there being like, okay, what do we do next? It's not a very fun experience because you as the DM or the Game Master are literally saying to them, what do you want to do?
Yeah.
We want to do what comes next. Nothing comes next. What as characters do you want to do? I don't have a plan. No. I'm building a world. If you want to do something, I'm going to try and react to that as best as I can based on what I know about the world or what I'm about to make the fuck up. Yeah. I'm not here to hold your hand and guide you through. You are supposed to be taking player agency, character agency.
Yep.
The other big thing is that, you know, like, as you said, throwing your DM off. So we've talked about the fact that we played a Star Wars RPG a while back with our mate who was our DM. Me and him, I think very similarly in a lot of situations.
Yep.
But the problem is, for him, I would probably class myself in the creative set of people. So, you know, yes, I am a very logical human being, but I'm also a very creative human being.
Yeah.
And I think his biggest problem was, when faced with a problem, he thought he knew how we would react, and he was almost 90% correct. And he would go, yes, this is how they're going to do things, and this is what they're going to do. And then what we'd do is be like, okay, so now the best way to solve this is this. And he's like, wait, how did you get there? And it's like, no, this is brilliant.
It is.
Sort of like the time I was like, hey, is there anything here? And he was like, oh, there's this. And I was like, oh, okay, so I have this now. He's like, yeah, but it doesn't work. And I'm like, cool. So pretty much what it was a bomb. I had a bomb that didn't work.
Yeah.
I knew that. No one else knew that.
Yeah.
So what I did was literally walked up to someone, pulled it out, and was like, if you don't do exactly what I say, I'm going to blow us all up. And he went, what? I went, yeah, because he went, okay, I've given them something that doesn't work. They know they have it, but it doesn't work, so they're not going to use it. And I was like, yeah, but I'm going to bluff my way through this situation.
Yeah, honestly, it was my first thought when as soon as you was like, can I make it look as if I fixed it? It was like, oh, yeah, I see what he's doing.
Yeah, exactly.
My immediate thing.
And that's what I mean. Like, I reckon for 90% of the stuff we were doing, he was there being like, okay, yeah, that makes sense. And it just came from what he would say to me after we were done playing. Like, he was like, oh, yeah, you had a really good plan. And then you just went off the deep end. Yeah. And I was like, yeah, because I'm like, yeah. Kind of like my delivery boy scheme. Yeah. But I'm like, oh, we're just the delivery boys. And they're like, oh, okay. And then he's like, well, this person comes with you. And I'm like, okay. And he's like, all you've got to do is play it out. And I'm like, yeah, okay. I just pull my gun on.
So we did so much
like,
stuff.
Why would you do that? I'm like, this scheme has gone long enough.
Or the end of it, like what was it, at the end of the first round when Caleb was trying to stop us from going after that last one.
Yeah.
And I'm just like, where is he? Do we know where he is? It's like, oh, you heard these things. It's like, okay, well, then we're going to the soup kitchen.
Yeah.
He volunteers at the soup kitchen every afternoon, feeds the homeless.
We're going to the soup
Yes, we're going there. And then he put everything in our way to stop us. And then we just rolled so well that he's like, oh, you're at the soup kitchen now. What are you doing? It's like,
we're threatening the fuck out of him.
I sneak up behind him, knife to the throat.
But anyway, yeah. So like, and that was the thing. It's like, and that's sort of like the idea as a DM is that you have plans, but don't think that that's what people are going to do.
Yeah.
And it's why I like being a player more than a DM, because I get more agency.
Yeah.
And like in situations, I'm like, okay, this is the best case thing to do to a point.
Yeah, yeah.
And that's why I think Caleb always ran into issues, because he's like, oh, they're going down this path, so this path logically ends here. Whereas me, I go, this path goes to here. Anything after this point is inefficient.
Yeah.
We now have to come up with a new plan. And normally that plan was follow through with this complex plan and, okay, now do the very first thing that comes to your mind.
Yep.
Which in one situation, I think, was literally sell you out. I'm pretty sure I was like, he's up there, and then ran off.
I enjoyed, like, again, throwing him off so much, especially when we came up against the guy when we were stealing his ship. And he like starts threatening us, and we take this gun off him, and then I point my gun at him, and it's like, I looked Caleb dead in the eyes and said, if that alarm goes off, because I knew you were going off and there was alarm, it's like, that alarm goes off, I'm shooting him in the face.
And he was so upset with that, because like we're sitting there being like, okay, we're gonna do this, and we get to the point, and it's just like I'm standing there in the middle of everyone, and I'm just like, everything Nick comes down to this roll, and it's just a bad roll.
Yeah.
And it's like, it's like,
which was immediate.
Everything kicks off, and we're like, fuck.
At which point, I'm just like, Caleb, I shoot him in the face, come on. I shoot him in the face. And he's like, hold on, let's just see what happens with you first.
I've actually, because that's actually the starting mission, like adventure thing.
Yeah.
I read that. That guy is incredibly tough. Like, he is a hard-ass guy to fight. Yeah. And we got him dead
one shot
without any issue because we fucking played charisma with him.
Exactly.
He has terrible charisma stats, but we played charisma with him using my character's charisma stats, and then did what Caleb didn't expect, which was, oh yeah, we're just here to da-da-da-da-da. And he was like, okay, bring it in. And then we're like, the second we walk in, we're like, okay, so we're here, he's here, yes. We take him hostage.
And it was the best thing, because he's like, but okay, roll for it. I'm like, wait, do I get advantage because I've had my gun pointed at his face the whole time? Like,
no. Because what actually happened, if you remember, is I had the quick draw.
Yeah.
So when he goes, okay, this happens, I went, I draw my gun. He goes, okay, it's going to take you. And I went, no,
I
have to do it instantly. And he went, oh shit. I'm like, so I already have my gun on him before he can even bring his weapon up and tell him to surrender. And he went, okay, he's going to surrender, and then you put your gun up, and you went, if he moves, and you took all of his equipment off.
It's like, I took his equipment, like, if he moves, he's dead. And he's like, wait, what? It's like, yeah, no, it's what's happening. It's like, okay, and then you went off to explore. It's like, okay, just try not to set off the alarms. It's like, oh, there's alarms. Okay, if the alarms go off, I shoot him in the face.
Yeah.
And because I was shooting him in the face, I think he gave me like 2 advantage.
Yeah.
Like 2 extra advantage, so I was like, done, and then it was such a high roll. It's like, you just killed him in one shot.
So I think the other thing was that Caleb always forgot that I had the quick draw ability.
Oh, he did.
Which meant that I had my gun the second anything.
I think I ended up getting the quick draw ability towards the end. I might have.
You might have. I don't think it was as useful for you because you used a 2-hand weapon.
Yeah, usually.
But but he always forgot that, so he'd be like, "Okay, this is gonna happen." I'm like, "I have my gun on them," and he's like, "Shit, you do." He's like, "Okay, well they don't have their weapon yet, so what do you want to do?" I'm like, "Can we get out of this with words?" He's like, "You can try," and we're like, "Okay." And so often we just get out of it with words.
Yeah. Don't know how, but it's fun.
There was also there was also the time I think he forgot he'd given us something very early on.
Yeah.
And then I used it and absolutely almost killed everyone because he gave us a plasma grenade.
Oh, that's right. I forgot about that.
And he was like, well, and I'm like, I used the plasma grenade. He went, what? And I went, yeah. And at that point, I had seen what it did and was like, this is not good.
No.
And I think I blew up the room we were in.
Yeah, he gave us way too much power with that one.
Yes. But that's the thing, and that's why I really enjoyed him as a DM, because also think about when we played Morkborg with him.
Oh, that was
a game
so
where
much fun.
we are supposed to die.
And we just
not only did we not die, we pretty much became, well, I became practically a cult leader.
Yes.
And we just kept gaining power, and he was like, you're not supposed to be this powerful in this game.
Well, you're not supposed to, but it's the simple stuff, like, I knocked a guy out outside of a door.
No.
There was another guy in the room and he heard the scuffle. He walks to the door. I look Caleb dead in the eyes and I'm like, oh my god, do you know what happened? This guy just fell over. I came over to see what was wrong. Do you want to give me a hand or help? Let's help him up. And then as he goes to bend over, and so I kill him. It's just like, and Caleb's like, huh?
But again, and this is why I loved Caleb as a DM, is that he would roll with it. As long as what you were doing, you were succeeding in, he wouldn't be like, no, you can't do that. He'd just be like, okay, that's what happens.
Yeah, and it's like he described a room. It's like there's a fireplace there, there's a table in the middle. So, and then there's this door, and we open the door, it's like, you can't see anything because it's like real dark. I'm like, cool, what's the table made of? Wait, what? Well, yeah, what's the table made of? Like, well, wood, I guess. I'm like, cool, I break the table and I use one of the legs and put one of the legs in the fire and then use it as a torch. Now I have a torch.
I think my personal favourite thing from Morkborg, though, was the skeleton that was playing the violin.
Oh, yeah.
In the middle of a room, it's like, and you can't get to them. I'm like, right. I throw something at his violin. Nat 20. You destroy the violin. The music stops. Cool. It's like, well, he picks up another one and plays it. I use my hawk to steal it. He picks up another one and it was like just this little
He just
thing.
didn't want to stop the music.
It was just this little thing that he was like...
Because like, he went through the effort of like finding music and songs to have in the background and all this sort of stuff.
Like, and just the thing was like, it was a non-important element to anything that was happening, and it's what we focused on straight away. And he was just like, fuck.
And it's fine.
Stop and continue on.
And it's also funny because you started focusing on it. I'm like, fuck it, let's go. And then I just joined.
But then I also like the fact that there was that trap in the hallway.
Oh, yeah.
And he was like, okay, so there's one hallway in front of you. And I'm like, cool. I send one of my skeletons down there and triggered the trap. And we're like, okay, we don't go that way. He's like, fucking hell.
Yeah.
And it was, just like, But no, as I said, he was a good DM because he didn't try and, I control the story. He was like, this is the situation. What do you want to do with the abilities that you have? And I think that's the funny thing about being a DM, is that you're sitting there going, okay, you have all your abilities. What do you want to do? Yeah. And like players who aren't really used to and stuff go, I want to do this. It's like, okay, you actually can't. And they go, whoa, why can't I? You let this person. It's like, because you don't have anything to do that with.
Yeah, pretty much.
You don't have that ability. But then you've got other people who are like, well, I've got this ability, blah, blah, blah. And so, it's funner to play with people who know what they're doing.
Yeah.
Obviously. And you got to be a little bit more patient with people who don't. But I think that's why our Morkborg and everything was so much fun, is because as players, we knew what we were doing.
Oh, yeah.
We may not have known, especially with the Star Wars and even a little bit Morkborg, all of the how everything constantly works.
Yeah.
But we didn't need to because we knew what our job was as players. And I think that's something that's really important when you are a player at one of these tables is it's not your job to know how the world works.
Yeah.
Because much like the real world, you don't know how it works.
Nope.
You're just someone in it. And so you leave how the world works to your dungeon master, your game master, and what you do is you interact with it as best you can. And when they say, oh, you can't actually do that because of this reason. Now, this is where you got to be a little bit careful with your DMs, and when you are one, is that if they can't do something, you have to explain to them why they can't do it.
Yeah.
And it can't just be, you can't do that because that's going to ruin the story.
Yeah.
Because it's not. That's actually part of the story.
Yeah.
If the reason they can't do something is like, oh, I do this, and it's like, yeah, you actually can't because of this reason. And you go, so, like, oh, I pull this lever. Oh, well, classic one. I open this door. You can't. Why not? Well, it does. It's first of all, it's locked. Second of all, well, I pick it. You don't have lockpicks. You know, you
or
can't.
me, the 8-foot Goliath in that one campaign. I'm gonna bust through it.
And you say, okay, you try. And like, this is where, as a DM, you get a lot of power, because it's like, if I have a door that I don't want you busting down, like, because you've, like, pictured a door, but what I'm picturing is a giant stone fucking entryway, and you're like,
Yeah.
I'm just going to bust it down. You're like, okay, roll strength against it, and they roll, and you go, yeah, you don't open it, and they go, what? But I rolled a 24, and you go, yeah, you don't open it. And then they suddenly go, oh, this isn't like a little wooden door in a wall. This is a giant fucking... Right, okay.
Yeah.
Now I think I understand better.
Yeah, and that's it.
But, like, yeah, as I said, one of the big things is, if you're going to say to the people, you can't do that, you need to have a good reason as to why they can't do it. So, like, one of the things that I often find myself doing as a DM is being like, you can't do that. Why can't I do that? Because you don't have the basic abilities to do that.
Yeah.
It's like, I'm going to hack this computer. You have no hacking ability. You can try, but you're going to fail.
Yeah.
And then they go, oh, but, you know, what if I roll really well? No, you don't understand. If you had hacking ability, I'd be like, yeah, okay, give it a go, see what you do. But you have none, so I'm not even going to make this close for you to be able to do. And they go, oh, but shouldn't it just be set at a number? No. Skills do matter. Especially when it's something like that I know about, and it's like, yeah, I know that fucking someone who's never hacked a thing in their life is not going to sit down at a computer and be like, let me just get into this.
Yeah.
But yeah. So that's kind of, guys, that's kind of my goal for this year. I want to play more games. Starting probably next month, because we're already halfway through this month.
Yeah.
Like, literally.
Yeah.
So, yeah. I think this year is going to be the year I spend a lot less on video games and a lot more on board games. Hopefully, by the end of this year, I will be the proud owner of at least 2 expansion packs and 1 very expensive board game. Probably, if I can get the one that I want, a board game I don't have a table that I can use to play it because it's too big.
Yeah. Yeah, that sounds about right. Sounds like a game we're gonna have to stand up and walk around. Fuck.
It's just that it has a big map.
Well, yeah.
But I think the table upstairs might just be big enough for it. But I also want to get all the expansions for it, which is why it's costing so much money, and they add more.
I'm aware.
Anyway, the point is, guys, that's I think for this year, what I'm going to do is take my foot off the video game market, just to let it kind of figure out what it wants to do. Does it want to crumble and die?
Yeah.
That's what all the publishers seem to want to do, and all the people with the money in the industry seem to want it to die. So I think I'm going to try and put myself less in there and spend money buying things that I can play with my friends, but then actually, unlike the years past where I have like hundreds of board games because I buy them because I want to play them and then just never have time because I'm busy and, you know, we have to play video games together or whatever.
Yeah.
Actually make time to sit down and play some board games and stuff.
Yeah.
But guys, I think that just about does it for today. So thank you for joining us. If you have liked this video, consider liking, sharing, commenting, or subscribing. If you also want to buy $300 board games, let me know which ones you want to buy. Tell me some good ones. If you say Mage Knight, I will come find you and punch you directly in the face. I hate Mage Knight. I don't hate it. It's just too long.
Yeah.
Any game you can play 24 hours in and not make it to the end is too long.
Yes.
But guys, I've been Darcy. Here's Kris.
Yeah.
Thank you for joining us. If you want to see more from us, check out the rest of the channel. We play video games. Maybe one day we'll actually be able to play board games.
Yeah.
But that's going to involve spending a bit more money and getting a few more microphones.
Yes.
We'll catch you next time right here on the channel.
Indeed.
See you later, guys.
See ya.